Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Steam Forward podcast. As always, I'm your host, Savannah, and today we have a special episode for you, and we're going to focus on the significance of Memorial Day, as well as some facts you may not know about Memorial Day.
Steam Forward podcast.
Just to get the podcast started and popped off, I want to really preface something. I think a lot of people get confused with Veterans Day and Memorial Day, or some people may not know the difference. And simply the difference is Veterans Day is a holiday that honors and celebrates veterans, so people that have retired from active duty military. And Memorial Day is actually to honor those that have fallen in duty. And so a little bit of history about Memorial Day. I am a history buff. I love American history. Memorial Day was actually once known as Decoration Day. And it was known as that because in the Civil War, a lot of African American soldiers had fallen. And so what people did to honor the soldiers that had fallen in the Civil War, a lot of people went to the graves and they decorated their gravestones. But that actually got changed, and it's now known as Memorial Day. And that got changed in the year of 1967. So when it was Decoration Day, it honored those that had fallen in the Civil War. And now it's Memorial Day, which honors all people that have passed away in active duty. So I thought it would be interesting to give you guys some facts about Memorial Day. Some of these things I didn't really know. A little bit of a background on me, I guess I should say, is my parents were both in the military. My dad retired. My stepdad was in the military. My uncle is a firefighter. To me, that's a service member. And I've had multiple other family members that have been in the military. So Memorial Day for me, I think, is an important holiday for us to remember those that have given their life for our country. I want to jump into some interesting facts about Memorial Day that you may or may not have known. So I'm going to give you guys 10 facts about Memorial Day. So starting with number 1, there's a big dispute about where the origin of Memorial Day started, what state, what city. And so there's multiple claims. There's several towns that claim to be the birthplace, including Waterloo, New York. So I know that it's a battle between Waterloo, New York, and Charleston, South Carolina. But Waterloo was officially recognized as the birthplace by President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1966. Number 2, if you didn't know, there's always a moment of remembrance on Memorial Day. Memorial Day is actually this Monday on May 27th. And so it's called the 3 p.m. pause. In 2000, Congress established the National Moment of Remembrance, asking Americans to pause for a moment of silence at 3 p.m. on your local time to honor the fallen. Number 3, there's also a symbol of remembrance, and it's known as a flower called the red poppy. The red poppy became this symbol thanks to the poem In the Flounders Field by John McCrae. Inspired by the poem, Monia Michael began wearing and distributing red poppies to honor the fallen in 1918. Number 4, Uniform Monday Holiday Act. So there was actually a date change for Memorial Day. In 1971, the Uniform Monday Holiday Act moved Memorial Day from May 30th to the last Monday in May, creating a 3-day weekend for federal employees and promoting travel and leisure activities. Number 5, the Arlington National Cemetery tradition. Since the late 1950s, soldiers from the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment, also known as the Old Guard, have placed American flags in the graves of military personnel buried in the Arlington National Cemetery in a tradition known as Flags In. Over 260,000 graves are decorated with flags before Memorial Day each year. Number 6, the Indy 500. So there, if you don't know anything about the Indy 500, it's NASCAR. So like racing, people that race cars. So it's known as race day. The Indianapolis 500, one of the most famous auto races in the world, takes place on Memorial Day weekend. This race has been held since 1911 and attracts hundreds and thousands of spectators each year. I think this one is really interesting because it's still the debate over place of origin. So number 7, first Southern observance. Charleston, South Carolina was one of the earliest Memorial Day commemorations. In 1865, it was organized by a formerly enslaved African Americans to honor Union soldiers who died at the Confederate prison camp. Number 8, New York was the first state to officially recognize Memorial Day as a legal holiday in 1873. Number 9, picnic and barbecue traditions. Memorial Day has evolved into a time for family picnics and barbecue, often marking the beginning of the summer season. It is estimated that around 1,818 hot dogs are consumed every second during the holiday weekend. And for number 10, floating lanterns. In Honolulu, Hawaii, the lantern floating holiday ceremony is a unique Memorial Day event where thousands of floating lanterns are set adrift to honor the memories of loved ones, including fallen soldiers. So I think that those are some interesting facts. And just to give kind of my closing thoughts, I think that it's great that people want to celebrate. It's nice that we have a day off. You're off of school. And it's fun to hang out with your family, have barbecues. You know, summer's around the corner. Go to the pool, go to the beach. But I really encourage on this day that we all just take a moment out to remember the sole purpose of Memorial Day. And that is to honor those that have died in service to protect our country, for us, for you. And we don't know these people, and these people don't know us, but they took the ultimate sacrifice. So to wrap it up with the word of the day, I think the only appropriate word is remembrance, that we, on Monday, May 27th, take a moment to remember those that have fallen in duty. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you next week.
And as always, a special thanks to our sponsors, the Children's Trust and Trinity Church. And don't forget that there are 3 ways in which you can listen or watch this podcast. If you'd like to listen, follow us on Apple or Spotify. If you'd like to watch, follow us on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and click that bell for post notifications.
Steam Forward Podcast.